From Arizona to Washington and all the way to Georgia, welcome back to the Coast to Coast Catch Up. Abe and I are just two childhood friends who grew up together, chased sports dreams, and now have big boy jobs on the opposite sides of the country. We created this podcast to catch up, unpack real life, and share the ride with you. From deep conversations to lessons we're still learning, laughs to life pivots. It's the kind of catch up everyone needs. Let's get into it. Abe, how have you been, man? We just saw
Yeah,
each other
man.
last week. Looking forward to another great podcast with you.
Yeah, it's weird being back on screens with each other. Again, I know that it was well documented that we had a fantastic weekend this last weekend, and especially for me, where it turned into kind of like an extended weekend, kind of visiting my you guys and my parents, and now it's turned into kind of a whole vacation. I will be here for the rest of the week, and it's been a blast. The weather has been absolutely phenomenal for September. It's still in the 80s in Idaho, which is pretty rare. And yeah, pretty glad to be soaking it all in. So, how are you, man? How are you? How's your week back in normal life?
It's been good. It's been good. Definitely busy. Been going all over the place. It seems like hopping around. Had a few reffing games. Been playing pickleball. Mac and I have a college buddy in town, Gervis Thompson. So I've been trying to hang out with him. But yeah, just been super busy with getting back to life, and you know how it goes. It's good. I'd rather it be that way than looking for something to do all the time. But definitely
Oh,
definitely
for
been
sure.
busy.
For sure. It's hard to come on. It's hard to go back into the week when you have a weekend like that. I feel like I've always struggled with it. And so, like, again, making my extended stay, I'm curious to see what Monday looks like for me next week. But yeah, man, my week turned into vacation. Sunday, y'all left and hung out with my parents. I know we saw them on Friday, but gonna hang out with them, have dinner, to watch football on a different time zone was so nice. Which was awesome. Obviously, the Falcons got the dub the other day, which is pretty sick, and was pretty excited to see that. And then, yeah, again, I told my mom for the rest of the week, I was like, hey, if I can get a few miles in here and there each day, and read some pages of a book, like I would consider that a successful day. And then all the other days were basically like my mom getting coffee and I just kind of hanging out, talking. She's had a long, kind of not a long week, but she's been pretty excited, which is weird to say, for getting surgery on today. Uh, and so all that went well. She had shoulder surgery for cold shoulder. But yeah, just hanging out with my grandparents, hanging out with my dad, playing golf, played golf Tuesday at a course that he's always been pretty high on and I've never played before. Played with my uncle, my great uncle, so my dad's uncle. One of the coolest guys. He's the one that still owns part of the cabin. He was the owner of the boat that we were on all day Friday. So see him and just give him thanks, but also just spend time with him. He's probably one of the bigger guys I look up to in my life. Just a very, very good person, and a great role model. But yeah, man, just been a stellar week to be up here. I do want to go back, but yeah, been soaking it all up because I don't really get much of this. It's hard to get out here. Long trip, expensive trip normally. So just been soaking it up.
Good, man. Yeah, it's a pretty area up there, especially I'm gonna say especially at this time of year. I don't know. I've never been any other time, but it's beautiful right now, that's for sure. It seems like everyone around you keeps getting surgery. Good thing
Yeah,
I'm back here and away from that. How's your mom doing? I know you said she's doing pretty well, but
she did good. She went in early this morning. My dad took her in. She had pretty bad cold shoulder. So they basically go in there and like get rid of it somehow. I don't know. I'm not a surgeon, but they got rid of it. And then the PT guy, she's got PT for like another like 2 weeks every day, starting tomorrow. And yeah, so I'm getting quite comfortable at the hospital. Ask all the right questions and make sure that she's okay. Seeing my mom kind of loopy after anesthesia was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. Everything went well. Talked to the doctor. He went well. And then I took her home. My dad went to work. She basically fell asleep for a couple hours, which was nice. And then I think she knew that she was a forward thinker, and she did a lot for me the last couple of days. And now the shoe's on the other foot, which is totally fine. So I've been enjoying that, and it kind of makes sense. Stay up here for just a couple more days to, my dad's busy. My Nana, she had surgery a couple weeks ago. So she's kind of, uh, she's got her own PT stuff going on. So, just some extra hands up here helping out, doing some stuff that either they were putting off or, just taking care of my mom. So, but yeah, it went well. Went about as good as it could, and she was pretty pumped to get it because it was bothering her for a while. So she's been feeling good today.
Good.
So
Hopefully that'll fix it up and she'll be better than
yeah,
before.
I need to set
And
up like a
again,
mass. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, and again, just tell your uncle thanks for me, thanks for Mac, Alyssa, Michaela. We had so much fun on his boat. Really enjoyed last weekend, and that boat was a big reason for it. So tell him thanks for us.
Sure. There was many things. That was the first thing out of my mouth was it was not good to see you or how's it going. It was, hey, thank you so much for letting us use your boat. Hey, it's good to see you. It's been so long, but yeah, it's been a blast, and I think we're going back out there Saturday to help kind of tie loose ends before the end of the year. So I'll be out there again, seeing them and kind of do my part of taking care of it. But yeah, it was great, and yeah, to let a bunch of not strangers, but let a bunch of random people kind of use your boat for a day. I would have if I was an owner of a boat, I'd be a little bit more nervous, but yeah, he's just kind of a stand-up guy, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
What do your week look like, man? What'd you do?
Well, I kind of mentioned it. I had a lot of reffing. That was fun. I've had two games. First one went well. Second one was going well, and in the third quarter, a kid had an injury to his neck or head, and actually was had to get ambulanced off. And the game just it was a freshman game, and so it didn't feel right for everyone. And the coaches were just like, let's call it. And so didn't get to finish that game, which is too bad. Yeah, hopefully he's all right. I don't think refs get updates for players, but hopefully he's all right. And yeah, what I guess it's part of football, which stinks, but it's a fun game, and sadly there are injuries like that happen with it. Just part of the game, I guess. But it's been good. What else have I done? I started waking up early this week. I've kind of said it the last few podcasts that I don't feel that I'm getting enough time for myself. I'm, not really lifting as much as I'd like to anymore, and I just feel like I'm kind of pulled in a lot of directions. I have work. I come home. I want to hit the gym. I want to ride bikes. I want to read a book. I want to hang out with Alyssa, hang out with the roommates, do a podcast. I just feel like as soon as I get home, I'm scrambling to get everything done, and uh, lifting just hasn't been, I've only been going once or twice a week. So decided to kind of make that a priority. Wake up. I've been waking up at 4:30. I've been listening to this audio book called the 5 a.m. Club, and it's kind of pushed me in that direction, and it's a good one. Uh, it's a cool book in the way they tell the story. It's I bet it's just some person who did a lot of research on the 5 a.m. or like waking up early and the benefits of it, and then the way they portray the book is more of a story of uh, some, let's say, wise man kind of influenced these two people that kind of are learning along the way, and it's a more fun read than just reading facts. So I've enjoyed it. That's been good. I think that'll stay for quite a while, and this could be a start of a new habit, which I'm excited for. So been doing that since Wednesday. So today and yesterday, I guess, are the only ones. But waking up early, I've gone to the gym. Gym opens at 5. I get there at like 4:45. So I've been trying to run real quick before get my miles in for our Ironman we're working on. Uh, get a few miles in there, and then go lift for try to do a speed run for about 40 minutes before my day of work. And I think normally I'm a long lifter. I usually lift like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but with the amount of time I've given lifting lately, I think it's better to do 4 or 5 days of uh, 40-minute lifts rather than 1 or 2 days of 2 hours. So um, it's a learning experience for me, and I'm sure I'll get the hang of what I want to do and how fast I want to do it and all that. But it's been fun. It's kind of fun to just try something new, something I'm not necessarily used to, and making the system again and getting in the groove and just finding time for myself. That early morning is fun, where it's just nobody even really knows you're up. There's no distractions. You can just kind of think, what do I it's more of a philosophy hour. What do I want out of my life? What do I want to accomplish? What am I enjoying? So just a lot of thinking to myself. Really, really enjoyed that. Had some quiet time and just kind of, I don't know. I don't have a lot of time by myself, I'd say. So it's been different.
No,
But
that's awesome. I love that. It's I I found like I work with a lot of just very high performing people, I feel like, and the common thread is they all wake up before work and do something, right? And I think especially being on the East Coast when I am over there, it's truly quiet. I'm sure it is for you because you're a West Coast company, but um, my cousins that would come travel to the West and play golf with my dad or visit us, they would naturally wake up early at the same time, and their day already started because they were 2 hours behind the East Coast. Um, but yeah, when you're kind of doing on the East Coast and you wake up early, the West isn't going to catch up to you, and as long as you're not doing any business overseas, then yeah, you're typically going to have that time quiet to you, and yeah, I'm sure everyone's felt it. I'm sure everyone's waking up early before work and they feel that tranquil energy. Um, it's just how many times can you hit snooze or not hit snooze, um, but no, that's awesome. I know that you were doing that before too with 75 hard. Whenever you were doing that in Arizona, but that's cool to see that you're wanting to do that again and kind of get back on that train of waking up early. Because it's not easy. And so hopefully you get that repetition in quickly.
yeah, the book I'm reading says it usually takes about 66 days to kind of create make that less of like, what is it? Make it more of a habit, I guess is the
Yeah,
way they stage it. But I'm
that's
I'm
awesome.
enjoying it being different right now. It gives me something to look forward to, and just some more time to listen to some books, and I've been just pondering some things lately, and so it's been good. It's
66
been real
days, man.
good.
That's a lot. That's a lot of
Yeah,
days, bro, to get something going.
it is, but it if you're enjoying it, I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. So we'll see where it leads, and yeah, who knows?
No, that's awesome. Main thing about this podcast, Ken and I actually met through U Sports. I think I mean, you can speak for yourself, but I think I wouldn't be anywhere. Georgia's the only place that I have been that wasn't sports related. When it came to like the friends I met or the school I went to in college, the jobs I had in high school, like it was all somewhat connected. There was some tie to sports, and specifically youth sports, which I kind of realized later in life, of kind of how special we had it and how awesome we had it and how kind of everything linked together. Um, and I mean, hopefully, you feel the same way, or maybe you realize that, or maybe you think a completely different way. But I think youth sports is such a powerful tool for kids and parents and really families and communities to get together. And I know it's getting crazy as time goes by to hear all the kind of the youth sports, little tidbits I get from the office here and there. But I mean, you're ref and you see it every day too. But um, yeah, I definitely want to spend some time kind of just talking about it and reminisce about some of the teams that we were on and kind of the memories that stuck with us. Uh, because I'm sure that they're different.
Yeah, yeah. U Sports, like you said, the amount of friends you make, and places it'll take you. Even even for us, it took us away from home. So cool opportunity with that. But yeah, I met you through sports. I don't think I have any friends that I still have that I didn't play sports with at a time. Every friend I have, I played sports with at some point in my life, and that's where we became friends, and that's why not necessarily why we're still friends, but it was definitely the spark for it. Being a shy guy as myself growing up, I didn't talk a whole lot, and as Abe mentioned, I was pretty decent at sports, and so that kind of gave me the confidence to feel that I could be a leader, and people would look to me when things were going wrong, or even when they were going right, and just like, what do you think? And that kind of gave me a platform to be like, oh, I'm good at something. I People are looking to me, like I can help them out, and through that, I think it really has led me to be the human I uh, am today. It's funny to say that something so um, small, and like it's just a game, but like it really has shaped my life, and not only in the past but currently in the present. All the I'm living with somebody I played sports with in second grade right now. I met, oddly enough, I met Alyssa in swim lessons when we were in pre-K. Not that that has any bearing, but it is a sport. Our parents signed us up for the same same swim lessons, so we found that out the other day, not too long ago. But yeah, just you, Mac, and I could keep naming them, but nobody's gonna know who they are. But everybody I'm friends with now are through sports, and it's taken us to the Midwest. It's taken us to, or it's taken us to Europe. Um, it's funny the way that life goes, and none of that would have happened, or none of this relationship would have happened without sports. And I'm gonna ask you, I don't know if I necessarily know the answer, but what was the first team we played on together?
Oh man. So I know it started that we played the same. I think it was my only year of soccer. I'm pretty sure it was your only year of soccer as well. But we were in the same league, but not on the same team. And it wasn't until like we look back at photos of like, hey, that's Cannon in the background, or hey, that's Kirk and Keeley on the sideline. And we played
That's
at Boulder Mountain
hilarious.
Park. And we probably realized this when we were like in junior high or high school, like pretty late in life. And it's like, wait, like you were on like the Galaxy, like I was on, I don't know what the other team was, but
How do you know my
um
team but not yours?
yeah, I just remember Galaxy, and I think the other one was like I don't know, I don't know what it was, but yeah, like so like that was kind of cool to look back on because like I mean like memories kind of come and go, and memories are weird. Like you remember certain stuff, and others it seems like you should remember but you don't. But I do distinctly remember going to those games at that park, and like the nets that they put up, and exactly where the field was at, and I remember a few kicks of the ball, but like other than that, I obviously don't remember seeing your parents or you or anything other than that, and like the orange slices after the game. But I do remember playing in that league, and I again that's probably kindergarten or pre-K age wise. Again, I don't remember the clear facts of it all, but I do remember sitting down with all the parents being like, "Wait, that's Cannon in the background." Uh, we all played in the same league as a kid. That's crazy. Um, but as far as the team that we first played on, I think it was the Bears. You were on the
Okay.
Bears, right? The big
Yes,
coach,
I
the
was.
big guy.
I was gonna
Yeah,
ask you the same question. Yeah, what was his name? Big Dog or something?
big,
Something
yeah,
weird.
Big Mac.
Big Daddy,
Uh,
or yeah, Big Mac,
yeah,
something like that. The
I want to
things you
almost put my
remember as kids.
I
Yeah,
just
it's
want to put
funny.
my dad out here and ask him. Um, I'm gonna bring my dad on and ask him what it was. But yeah, I remember playing the Bears, and I think like Jacob, who's that tall Jacob ended up going to like University of Washington. not for like
No
sports at all,
idea.
but like he was
Oh,
on that
Jacob
team.
Zara.
Zara.
Yeah.
Hey, the Chicago Bears Thunder Alley team. What was the dad's coach's name? The coach's name for the Bears Thunder Alley.
Big something. Big something.
Big something. Cannon was on
We
that
were
team.
close. Yeah, I was. I'm telling you now.
Can't remember his name though.
He doesn't remember either. Dang it! I was hoping that you remember that.
I think it was Big Dog or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Big.
That's
And I remember
hilarious, though.
His kid was big, and I remember Jacob Zara was on that team because he was extremely tall at the time as well, as he always was. But yeah, and we practiced kind of by like Alta Mesa. I don't remember the exact field that we practiced at, but it wasn't one of the normal ones that we did.
Yeah, I can picture it. I don't know what it is though. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a fun. We weren't necessarily friends. Like we knew of each other. I wouldn't say
I think
we were
that
friends or anything though.
I think that was kind of the inception of it all. Not like in the beginning,
Okay.
but I think like after the season was kind of ended. I think your dad and my dad were like, hey, like our kids are getting pretty well together. Like, would you want to do something else? Because I think that was first grade, which we weren't in classes together yet at first grade. Because I remember my first team fling member was Tommy in first grade. And I think you and the Karen, I don't know what you class you're in, but I knew the Karen teams from the classroom next to me. But so I'm gonna guess that was probably around first grade. Was when that
I'd
was.
say that's a good guess. Yeah, that was funny. It's one of those memories for me where it's like very cloudy. I'm not sure. I was questioning if you were even on that team or if that was someone else, because I think one of our other friends, Alec, was. I think we were starting to hang out a little more too, and his dad, Brian Blakeman, basically the youth coach god of Los Andes was was starting to recruit me, and I think we pulled you along, and that's kind of what sparked the next year. I think were we the Bears again with Ryan Blakeman?
I remember the next team. Putting this in chronological order is tough.
Right.
It was so long ago, and I almost want to get the moms in on this. Be like, hey, pull out every scrapbook we possibly can. We need to like put this on a timeline. But I think it was the Bears. I remember being on the Steelers.
Okay,
with, like,
the Steelers
Jake,
with yes, I know what team. Yeah.
Jake McDonald, and I think the Kyle Sorkness was on that team as well.
Yes, and I can picture his face.
I think Alec,
a blonde kid who liked the Panthers. I don't remember him, but I remember he liked the Panthers. I think his dad was the coach. But yeah, it's funny though that we just we can go down this rabbit hole for forever, just keep naming. But I think a big changing point for us was finally when Ryan Blakeman, friends of our friend's Alec's dad, basically took us in, took all our friend group in, and was like, all right, this is the team now. And all of us kind of bought into it. Our parents bought into it, and we're like, suddenly we're a mob. Like before we were individuals, our parents might have knew somebody, and that kind of pulled us along. And then Ryan Blakeman pulled us together, and all of a sudden, our parents were banded together, the kids were banded together, and we became like a mob of a team. And, there's some good athletes in there. I think what did five out of the six of us played college sports, and the sixth would have had opportunities too if he wanted to. Was it four?
Four to the six.
Yeah. The other two would have.
Exactly.
Yeah, the other two had offers and stuff, but I think they just passed up on it. But yeah, we were just a very athletic group, had a lot of fun together, and our parents got along, and so it worked out really well, and we had a blast. Do you have anything to say about the mob?
I think it's weird to think about like the inception of it all, right? Because you're just a kid. Like the things I remember most about playing flag football was like running down this, like you'd park in a parking lot, and then you get over this crest of the hill, and then you just see like 6 flag football fields on this basically like this retainage area. So like God forbid it rained in Arizona and like all the games are canceled. But like running down the hill, running to the tent, trying to figure out what field we were on at what time. Grabbing like the coolers from the car. And I think, it's easy to say, and like look back for us, like, hey, we're all these like athletic kids, and like we, like, let's just kind of keep group to group. But I think probably the glue of it all was, like my dad met your dad, at the Bears, and I think that, was like, hey, this guy's a cool guy from both parties, and then maybe your dad knew Ryan Blakeman, and then eventually it organically. I think what it was just the parents enjoyed hanging out with each other so much that we're like, hey, like, why don't we just, at the time would be the 10 parents, right? Why don't the 10 of us just start doing, these teams? So the kids and us obviously had a big part of it too, but I think the parents just got along so well that it felt natural to be like, Ryan being, another big glue guy, and being kind of a people person, and as inviting and hosting as he is like, hey, like let's keep doing this. This is so great. Let's keep it going. And that formulated, 4 or 5 or 6 flag football teams, a couple tackle teams. I know your dad had a big part in, the 3 or 4 basketball teams we were on, and then obviously Ryan led every little league charge head on with all the teams that we were on with that. But how it started, again, I can't remember the details. I was 6 years old. I have no idea, but I remember that it was you kind of blinked and then it was a thing. And obviously that leads to dinners after the games and going to everyone's houses on the weekends, but yeah, it really did start with this Thunder Alley football that was awesome. And then just to see it progress, like the progression was cool. Like obviously we had the 5 families, which was the mob, and it was awesome. But my dad would get in on some of the coaching, like your dad would get in some of the coaching, and then we're just going to the local field, kind of goofing off, but also taking it somewhat seriously. With with the teams like the Lions, which is like one of our older ones, and like all the memories of that, going to that field, and like my dad cutting his hand at work, and like he had a big cast on trying to catch balls. Zach Carantinos running down the hill full steam, like to get to practice and like
first play every game was Tommy was the center. He'd snap the ball to me and just run straight and look over his back, and I'd try to throw the ball as straight as I could over his nose, and he'd just catch it like that, and it was a touchdown probably 70% of the time. It was so funny. But yeah, just a bunch of memories. That Lions team that you're mentioning, I think we played for some tournament to try to get like, I don't know, a flight to Florida or something.
Those are the Cardinal stuff, right?
Yeah, at the Cardinal Stadium, and we got screwed out of the game. Basically, we were down. We were like down. I think we were down 6 or something, or we were down 5. We score. We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna like we won. There's only 7 seconds left, and they messed up the score. And they're like, no, you're down 2. And so we go for 2. We get it. We're like, yeah, whatever. We get the 2, and then it's tied up, and they're like, no, you're still down 1. And we like pick it off or something, and I don't know. The game ends somehow.
That.
Okay, did you?
I remember very distinctly like picking it off, and then I think we didn't have the full Lions team, because I remember like Carter Wheat was on that team, because I remember his dad screaming at like the refs like that they messed up the scoreboard. And I'm like 90% sure it was like Jackson Wheat's dad, or Carter Wheat's dad. But yeah, I remember going out there, and that was like a big deal. Like I remember a couple days before, I was like, dude, we're gonna play at Cardinal Stadium. Like that's so cool. Like if we keep winning, like we'll play inside the stadium. And obviously it's way out there. Like as a parent, you're like, dude, I've got to go drive like an hour to these fields rather than
waking up at like 4. To get out there at 6. Game start.
Do we have everything? Like, do we need anything? And like, you got to sit and entertain these ravaging kids all in a new spot, and basically a circus. We're basically a circus show everywhere we go. But yeah, I remember that game very distinctly, and but it's so cool, right? So cool that that's stuff that we remember. And yeah, like to think that my dad, who's just the golf pro, like he's like, coaching us. I think like one of the winning. I don't know what we won for Thunder Alley, but I remember the Lions team was one of our better teams growing up, and I think the Steelers were too. But yeah, man, being that age and like all you kind of care about is like what mouth guard you got, and like I'm not even wearing a mouth guard, like I'm so tough, and then like all the gloves were just becoming a thing, like yeah, just look back on some of those pictures, like the hairdos and all that kind of stuff. It's just so fun. Like
You definitely have a different memory than me. I don't think I cared about any of that. It probably
no, well
shows
that was a difference.
it shows in the in the pictures, but yeah, that's funny.
You're the only one that didn't care about that stuff, which is why you were one of probably the better athletes. You're like, I don't care what gloves I have on, like just let me throw the ball. And I remember like the blue balls of the plays and the routes on them, and we're just, you get back in the huddle and you're like, all right, dude, like you're gonna do this, and
they're
all right,
all
man, you're gonna do
QB
that.
sneaks. If you look at them, it's just a QB sneak.
Yeah,
it's not even a legal flag football play. Why is it on all the balls? Yeah, it's funny. It's funny thinking back, and yeah, we did everything together. That mob, which I think will be referred to as Team Fling from here on out, because that's kind of the team. I don't know who came. I think it was Nick Carantinos, but one of the dads
Nick Carantinos
came up with the name Team Fling, which was put on a shirt at some point, and now is kind of just become the label for that mob of friends and families that are still together because of I think because we labeled it a name and because we traveled so many sports. But we hopped to so many sports together. We did flag football, did basketball. My dad coached that. I think your dad kind of helped coach everything. My dad stuck to football and basketball, and then Ryan Blakeman took flag football and baseball as well, or Little League baseball. So super fun. Just hopped around, went sport to sport. Everyone had a sport that they were a little better at, and it was just a super fun time. We had a lot of good times. As athletic as we were, I don't think we ended up winning a whole lot of tournaments. Like we'd get to the finals, but we'd rarely actually get a win. The one tournament win we had was fall ball. I remember the maroon jerseys. I don't know what we were called, but we went 15-0, and we got a win there finally. And
I remember we had a sick name. Yeah, I remember we had a sick name for that team. I think it was like the Monsoons, the Maroon Monsoons or something like that. But
something like that.
But I think we were just like the Maroons. But yeah, like it was so cool to see because like obviously like, sports come at different times, right? So like you had baseball in like the summertime, and then they had fall ball, which is pretty rare. And then I think football was in spring. So it was cool to see like how it, you just go from one team to the next. So yeah, it was so cool to see like the kind of the progression of like, hey, like we put on this football team, like let's go, are you guys signing up for basketball in a couple of weeks and doing that, right? And then that progressing to go into the next into baseball, right? Because I think baseball is actually spring and fall. But yeah, I remember the fall ball team. Yeah, as you kind of mentioned, there's so many close calls in all the sports that we had, but I think we might have won one of the Thunder Alley leagues a year, but yeah, the 15-0 baseball 5th grade, that was pretty sweet. Again, the parents kind of kicked in and they made us jackets. I think we wore the heck out of those.
Oh yeah, I think I wore that to like 8th grade.
Yeah, that was one of our.
We won it in like 4th.
That was like one of our kind of a go-to like dirt biking like hoodies when it would get cold. But yeah, I remember that very clearly because I think that was the championship was at Rhodes. I remember like a lot of the games very clearly because we played at Quail Run a lot, and then I think we had 1 or 2 games at Red Mountain, and then I think the finale was at Rhodes. And I remember Luke Heist, who got kicked out of the game. He was like our star catcher. And like no one catched for us at all, like ever, except for Luke. I think he got thrown out by the umpire because I think he said a bad word. And so, was it you that went and catched for the rest of the game?
I have no idea. I don't have
So
the memory of baseball like you do. I'll remember some
yeah,
football, but yeah,
yeah. I
basketball,
remember.
football I remember, but baseball it wasn't my sport and I didn't
Yeah.
always know what was going on, to be honest.
No, I get that. But yeah, so that was just such a unique. I remember it was a long high, like after winning that, like wearing those jackets for a long time, like going to the end of the year party and like just the memories and talking about it. I don't know exactly what it was, but like I remember talking about it for a very very long time with like all of our friends. Like, do you remember this game or this play and all that kind of stuff? But and then yeah, like then we had basketball. I think basketball. Um, you know, I'm sure football was probably your favorite. Uh, I remember kind of distinctly that baseball was probably the one I was the best at, but I enjoyed the least. Football is what I enjoyed the most, but I was the worst at. And then basketball was like right in the middle. Um, where in between enjoyment and like skill wise. But basketball practice was so fun, and I think that was just a big part of like your dad and my dad, and Darren when he was there, just making it very, very intentional but very fun at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. I was talking to my dad the other day about it, and he's talking about like when we first started, he wanted to do drills and stuff, and then at the end we'd end with a game or something, and then it kind of evolved to why do we do drills? Like the games are so much more fun. Like
Yeah,
let's just get in a circle and uh, if you knock a ball out of someone's hands, then they're out and ring of fire.
yeah.
That probably didn't make any sense to anyone listening, but basically you get in a big circle. There's a circle on the ground, and then you dribble and you try to knock someone else's ball outside of the circle. And if they get the ball out, they're out. And then you can stand on the outside and try to knock someone still in the circle the ball out of their hands. And so it was fun, just dribbling stuff, and in the game or in the practice with speed and yeah, it was fun. My dad just made it fun, which I think is kind of what you should do as young kids. You should find a way to make the game fun. No one wants to do drills all day or practice, putting the ball between your legs 50 times. Like, no, let's just practice or not, let's practice the fundamentals. Let's do some games rather than some drills, or even worse, like doing plays when you're in second grade. It's like, really? Why do we need plays?
I,
So,
I remember the only drill that we did was like the braiding drill where like you'd go like you pass it and you go
yeah,
behind that person and like you'd go like the whole court and finish and like that was kind of like my first key of like, hey, I can braid hair now because like I know how it goes.
it taught me as well. See, so
Yeah,
they're
and
thinking big picture there. Someday
yeah,
you'll probably have a daughter, and now you know how to braid hair because of second grade basketball. So,
but yeah, like I like just the feeling of being like I was a kid that like I didn't really want to be in school all day. Like I didn't like it, and then like to go back to school at like 6 o'clock and at nighttime and like oh dude, I'm so pumped to be back at school. Like you spend all that time in like the Los Angeles gym late at night, and it makes me wonder like how we even like got access to that of like letting us go on school grounds that late with a bunch of kids and a couple parents. As something that I don't think we'll be able to do. Hopefully we will, but yeah, running around and like I know your dad's not like I mean he wasn't like a collegiate basketball player, but like he just knew the fundamentals. He's from Indiana, it's a Hoosier State, but like keep your eyes up anytime you dribble. Keep your eyes up at all times. If you say the word "it can't," like you're running a suicide. We ran a lot of suicides, and
some
not
more
because we
than
said the word
others.
can't. Yeah, some more than others, but like not just because we were saying the word can't. There's other stuff we were running suicides for, but like that stuff, like I think about that all the time. Like I don't say that word as much as if I wasn't on that basketball team, and I think that's a big part of my success in general. But like even when I play pickup games, like I don't play much basketball, but like I do think about like, hey, keep your goddamn eyes up because and make sure that when you shoot that ball's higher. Don't shoot from your chest, like shoot from pretty bring your hands up higher. So um, I learned that in like second grade. It still sticks with me. So
It's
I think that's
hilarious.
kind of the benefits of it all.
Yeah, that's good. That's good fun.
I
Yeah,
also I also remember the first I don't know if it was the first of the season practice. I don't know if it was the first or second season, but the practices at your house in Black Rock, and my dad and I showed up. We were probably the first ones. We were the first ones to show up, and you and your dad were playing basketball in your courtyard. And I mean, if anyone's seen Cannon and his dad play sports, it is awesome to watch. Now imagine like second grade Cannon, significantly smaller than his dad. Just going at it like it's March Madness. Second half, like minutes left, like just pure intensity. And I remember I pulled up and I even told my dad, I was like, should we do something? I was like, should we say something? Like what do we do? Like, this is crazy. And it was at that practice where we came up with the name Screaming Trees. So it was one of the core practices that we ever had. And wasn't even a practice. I think it was like maybe like 5 dudes there out of like 10 guys. So there was like almost like a, hey, we're gonna have our first practice on Thursday, but everyone come over on Tuesday, that can. And everyone's got busy schedules. But yeah, what a fun memory that I don't know if you remember, but I remember distinctly going over to that courtyard of yours and showing up, and I was like, what the hell are we got going on here? And then, another like 40 minutes later, I'm screaming off the top of my lungs in a green shirt at everyone, and that was the the start of the Screaming Trees. So yeah.
yeah. No, I do not remember playing my dad like that because we always played like that. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary for me. So,
No,
but
it
that's
wasn't.
funny. That's funny that you could just see that. That was probably our 4th or 5th game, and I'm sure there's elbows and someone's lip was bleeding or something. But yeah, it's that we'd get after it. That's for sure. He's a big part of the reason I am the way I am, and very competitive. So a lot to thank that guy, and super thankful for the lessons he gave me, and apparently the lessons he gave you that you're still still remembering and thinking over. So yeah, super fun. Had a lot of good coaches, a lot of good people through sports. It takes a lot for somebody to be a coach for youth kids. Like just the process of like showing up, you're not getting paid, you're not doing it for any other reason than you want to be there, and you want to make a difference in kids' lives, and you want to be a part of your kids' lives. And so meet a lot of cool people that way, and I'm very thankful for the group we created, and all the great parents that bought into it and gave us the time and energy. And it's that people always say that growing up, like, oh, thank your parents, thank that. But like reflecting on it just right now, it's like, wow, we're in a pretty special time, and definitely given some special opportunities to have fun and play, and create friends and create lifelong memories, and learn life lessons even. So just super thankful for all that. And another fun team we had was the Javelinas, our tackle team when we were a little older, 7th and 8th grade. I, this is the team that basically, I don't know, 80% of my friends now were on this team of 13, 14 kids on 11-man football. I think everybody played both ways. And
Well, not everyone.
You didn't?
No.
Oh shoot, sorry. You're
It's
one of
okay.
the 2 or 3 guys that didn't play defense then, because I remember you at guard. Um, or was it tackle? Tackle. Okay, one of my core guys up there on the front end. But yeah, that was a super fun team. Like I said, our friend group was pretty decently athletic, and a funny thing is, like, we went pretty deep into the playoffs, and we beat like feeder teams for high schools. Like they were out recruiting. They're like, we beat, I think it was, who did we beat? Do you remember the team we beat? The feeder team?
So I wasn't a part of the first Javelina team.
No, it was
that
the
was
second one.
Okay. I think Desert Ridge because they were like the
Yeah.
that was Desert Ridge because I remember they're red and black and they
Yeah.
weren't like I think Desert Ridge was the I've got their school mascot, but it was like a wildcat or something like that. Or the Jaguars or Panthers or whatever. But they're
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the black.
it was the Jaguars. Yeah, you're right. It was the
Yeah.
Desert Ridge feeder team, which actually in high school was a pretty pretty good team. Uh our years going through high school. I don't know how they're doing now, but um so it's just funny, this neighborhood team. We're all from the same elementary school. We're all just friends. We play all these different sports. We're uh, just a neighborhood team, and we're taking on the high school like feeder team that's pulling kids in from everywhere and making kids pay to play. And you have to buy this jersey that's fitted towards the high school and all that. And so it's funny that we actually went pretty deep. I think we ended up losing um, in the
I know.
final game to some other feeder high school team. But looking back at it, and we were all bummed and everything, but um, as we should have been. But it was like we were taking out teams that had 30, 40 guys on it, and we had 12 to 14 at any given game. And
I could only imagine this, like looking at the sidelines and being like, "What the hell is going on here?" Like that team has your freshman football length of just people, and then there's just like three blue jerseys on the other side, just like
they have like trainers and stuff, and we have literally like a few dads on the sideline.
Yeah, we've got Mike the trainer in the sideline. I'm like, "Hey, do you need water? Like, are you doing all right?"
Yeah.
But no, I remember you guys played 7th grade in Javelinas. I didn't because I was like, listen, I'm done with the football. Obviously, like I can't be playing tackle. If you know me, you understand why I can't play tackle football. Like I just don't have a whole lot of anger in me. And then finally Alec in class was like, dude, just do it. Like you don't have to play. You just gotta show the practice. And I was like, all right, I'm in. And then, I kind of got like Ponzi scheme where it's like, oh, you're a left tackle. I was like, what? Like 140 pounds. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I can't be left tackle. It's like one of the more important positions. And then, and yeah, that was my last season of playing football. It's kind of when I was taking golf a little bit more seriously. But man, did I enjoy the hell out of the practices with Coach Blakeman and Darren, and he's telling me all this stuff about like left tackle, and he's just this giant monster man, and I'm getting like 140 pounds, like maybe probably 5'10" at the time, like just I look like a receiver, but I have no athletic, no speed to play receiver at all. And yeah, that it was truly a hodgepodge situation of that line. I think we had Troy Bendon and Brendan
Zach
Howie,
Carantinos, Brandon
Zach
Howie.
Carantinos. Yeah, like it was me and Zach Carantinos on an offensive line. And just how it made sense, it just didn't. But no, it was so awesome, and again, it's a lot of fun memories of practices. And I remember I remember the conversation of Ryan going up to my dad, like, hey, like, would you love to help out? And my dad, it was my first time, like my dad was like, help out with what? Like, dude, I've never played tackle football. Like, I don't know what I can do to help out here. But my dad, Ryan Blakeman, being the man he was, like, he's like, hey, like we'll find you something to do. Like we just want you here. He did something. He was on the field every day with us in practice, helping out, which is awesome. But yeah, man, I just cherish that team so much, and the I don't know how many junior high tackle football teams doing tape, doing oh gosh, what's it called? Everyone came over and we were watching tape of just what we were doing right, what we were doing wrong, and you had a guy that played Stanford football, and he's telling us what to do, basically telling me what not to do, and that kind of the tape was awesome, and again, so I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember it was good for you, and then obviously all like the indirect stuff that you learn and enjoy, like eating a hot dog and like everyone raiding the pantry and like like that. Those are the things that you remember, less of Darren being like, hey, you need to stay lower on this block. It's like, all right, I got it, like I'm ready. Sorry. Or when you pull, you need to pull harder, and it's like, all right, I got it. Like sick. But no,
Yeah,
so
a
fun. Like,
lot of good bonds and a lot of good memories with that. And yeah, it's funny what does stick with you through all that. It, it was a good time to be alive, and very very thankful for the way we were brought up.
yeah, I'm sure it's so different. Like, I know it's a different level, but like going from junior high, like eighth grade tackle football and being, kind of a pretty successful team, and then going to freshman year of high school football. Like, what a difference that must have been for you. Because I think freshman's kind of the same as like the rest, where it's like, hey, if you don't go to this camp, like you're not playing. Like, if you don't go to the, this summer program, like you're not gonna, like, don't expect anything. And just how different of that is, going into freshman year, to 1 year before, where hey, we're gonna show up here with our friends and run a lot of stuff and we're just at a local park, no lines whatsoever, like a couple crooked cones, and just kind of just building mental toughness and also kind of teach us the game and the fundamentals. But yeah, that was a good stopping point for me, because I clearly was not playing freshman year of tackle football at all in high school.
I don't know. I think you could have done it. It wasn't too bad. But also, I love football, and I love
Yeah.
the coaching, and I love learning about it. So it wasn't as difficult for me, just because I enjoyed it. But yeah, it kind of, oddly enough, nobody really took you up on. We all kind of played each other's sports. We played baseball, basketball, football, and you kind of stuck with golf. Nobody really um, went and played golf with you too much growing up. Obviously, now as we're getting older, it seems like everyone kind of wants to work on their swing, and they keep coming to you. So you're just playing the long game. I see what you're doing now. But yeah, how is that? When did you start with golf, and when did that kind of come to fruition?
Yeah, I would just start with, I'm a pretty forward thinker. Obviously, from a young age, I was thinking like, hey, this is going to be way better off for me than anything else. But in all seriousness, like, both my families, on both sides, like they all, golf's a huge part of it. And I always knew it's no more thing to know how to play golf growing up, which is becoming more popular now. But at the time, which I know it was only, like 15 years ago, which seems crazy, but not that long ago. But like, no one really golfed. Like, it's just kind of me and a few other like kind of like geeky kids. And even then I was like, I don't want to hang out with those other golfers. They're weird. But but yeah, my dad being a golf professional, I learned how to play golf at a very young age, and I didn't start taking it seriously until about like eighth grade, which is pretty late. I mean, you think about all the sports I played growing up, from 6 years old, and I'd kind of play golf here and there with my dad on the weekends, maybe once a month. And I was pretty good just because of my teacher and my dad, in my environment. But yeah, I got to eighth grade and I was like, yo, Red Mountain is pretty good at golf. I should probably start like practicing a little bit more. So they did all the coaches, all the camps, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, like it just wasn't the cool thing to do. Like, it just like, there's really no other way to say it other than like, it was just a very small community. And it was awesome. I really enjoyed the golf community, especially Red Mountain. We were certainly a community of excellence. They won the state championship the year before I went into we went to freshman year, which is pretty sweet. We had, going all of my high school career, we had the most state championships in the state with 9 for golf, which is pretty, again, just really impressive. So pretty intimidating. And at that point I was like, having an older brother being like, hey, like the golf team's pretty good. I was like, all right, I should start practicing more, which led me to not play tackle football because, I chose the better thing for me, obviously. And yeah, my freshman year, I didn't make the team, which was like, I had no expectations. I went in there and it got really nervous, didn't play well, and then I was close. I was still very close. I was basically the first man off, and then I came back sophomore year and I played the whole year. So I don't want to compare myself to Michael Jordan, but it was kind of like a Michael Jordan moment where I think getting cut was probably the best thing for me. But yeah, it's funny. I got to college and everyone asked for lessons and tips and all this and that. And I remember like going to college and being like I'm not sure if I'm going to tell a ton of people like I'm on the golf team. And then I quickly found out that you want to tell everyone you're the golf team because then like you're just like the big man on campus. So that was a culture shock, but I think golf just got cool. I think I don't really have a direct answer for that, but it did switch. It felt like overnight from high school to college, but I enjoyed the heck out of it, man. Like to leave school, you know, like halfway through midday on like Tuesdays and Thursdays, you know, telling the teachers like, hey, I've got a golf tournament. Like I got to leave this class. Like there was nothing more thrilling than telling, you know, my math teacher, like, I got to go. And then, you know, walking off campus, you know, at like 2 p.m. when everyone's got like another hour and a half. And it's just like, I'm leaving, bro. And that was awesome. That was fun. And again, I'm still really close to some of the friends I had in high school on my golf team. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, but man, it's different than every other sport because again, we play with a bunch of our friends, and some of those friends, when they picked their sport in high school, like they were still on the same team, but you know, golf's not a team sport. So you went from playing by yourself to playing on a team, and that was quite the adjustment. But I enjoyed it. I know I picked the right sport. I enjoyed the heck out of it, but and yeah, again, a lot of my friends were to this day were on those teams, and yeah, what a culture shock from high school to college.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah. Well, I think we've talked about youth sports quite a bit, and
Yeah.
I think just reflecting on it made me realize, not that I didn't know it before, but it made me really say it out loud and reflect on just, you know, how special it was to grow up with the area we grew up with and the friend group we grew up with, and just turn into young adults, young men, and I think sports really helped us with that and shaped us in ways we didn't think we were signing up for when we first signed up for, you know, little league baseball or you know, tackle football or whatever. But it was a blast, and definitely looking forward to giving my kids the same experience I had.
Yeah, I just don't know if you can recreate it. Obviously, I think both of our goals is to recreate it as much as possible. But I'm kind of glad that we withheld a little bit of the coaches because I think there needs to be kind of an entire pod of just what it was like being coached by the guys that we had growing up and what it meant to us and how it's affected us now. But yeah, just to meet kind of your kin, your clan at such a young age, doing the stuff that you love. I don't really see how it gets much better than that. So, yeah, just thankful. I don't know how, again, like it's funny to think about, I don't know how it happened, but man, I just felt like it was overnight. And, you know, I just think if we went back in time, like how, you know, I'm not sure if we could recreate it to the T, just because it was, I had kid brain. I didn't know how everything worked, but yeah, so special. And yeah, it's funny when you look back and things that you do remember and things that you don't remember, and kind of the lessons that you've taught along the way. So
Definitely.
with that, man, do you have anything else to add?
I think that's all. Thank you guys for listening. It's been a fun one, reflecting on our youth sports, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.